flight to Leticia, the Amazonas. We will be spending there 4 full days and having different kind of tours in the Amazonas rainforest. This is an Amazonic breakfast with some tapioca, with some farina on the eggs. Many things made of cassava or yucca roots.
Okay, so we just started our walk. It's going to be 2 to 3 hours, depending on how it goes. We're here in rain season, which means there's a lot of mosquito, there's a lot of insects and snakes as well, but apparently usually nothing happens.
Here it is incredibly humid, so we're sweating all over the place.
And if I weren't wet enough from all the sweat, I obviously had to step there where I wasn't supposed to be, because these rivers can be quite tricky.
Now, after almost 3 hours in the jungle, we are about to arrive at the place we're going to stay for the night.
Finally, you have got to the Maloca. Here lives one person, which is called Abuelo or grandfather, and today we will learn from him lots of things: how to prepare mambeo, how to prepare the meals, and then he will share with us lots of his ancestral knowledge.
Now the only one missing really was the abuelo himself. So while we were waiting for him, we had a bath, relaxed a little bit, and had a delicious meal prepared by our guide. And then finally it was time for stories at the fire.
Bukaviri. Pero yo le estoy diciendo a ustedes en palabras Bukaviri. Bukaviri. Entonces ese era el nombre de esta casa. Bukaviri.
And then we sat down and listened to a few interesting hours of the abuelo telling us about everything that has to do with his tribe and also, in fact, the other tribes in the area. Starting from the fact that none of these tribes actually comes from the area where they are now. They all had to relocate due to cultural production, mining, forestry, and of course cocaine production. He was starting where humankind comes from in their belief, the spirits of the forest, which role they play, how people live in interaction with the forest, how the tribes live the traditional ways in the forest, how their daily life goes on, and also how it changes now that they're in close contact with quote-unquote modern society. And of course, he talked a lot about the rituals they do in order to protect people who go out in the forest, either for hunting, for cutting down trees, to doing dangerous things, because in their belief the forest is a living being. And part of these rituals is what is called mambe, which is a coca powder made of coca plant, and rape, which is a tobacco powder, which you also see here in these videos. The rape goes through the nose, and the other one you just chew in your mouth, or you have in your mouth until it sort of gets liquefied. Both of them don't have anything to do with cocaine, with the drug cocaine. They're just part of their ancient traditions of kind of creating a protective sphere around people who were out about in the forests. So it was all in all a very, very interesting experience. We learned so much, way too much to explain here. But for sure, if you go to the Amazon forest, make sure you get some interaction with the locals. Let you explain their way of living. It's really an eye-opening and one of the best experience cultural-wise I've ever had in my life.
Amén. Bueno, muchas gracias, Neto. Bendiciones. Bueno, entonces toma, hey.
We will do now a night walk to hear and see everything on the Amazonas rainforest in the night. Surprisingly for myself, it was very comfortable to sleep on these hammocks. It was really nice to hear the sounds of the Amazonas rainforest.
And after breakfast, it was time for even more lessons about ancestral knowledge of the indigenous people regarding animals, plants, and their way of living. Amongst many other things, we were shown the coca plants they cultivate and also which parts of the leaf they use and which they don't.
Ahí viene la fruta. Van chupando.
So we were told how they used to do hammocks back in the days, and basically from these leaves you can extract ropes like this, and they're very strong.
The rainforest provides them with everything they really need in their everyday life, including, for example, building material, be it for hammocks or in larger quantities and size, also for building their entire houses.
And just like that, our time with the Indigenous RO is over. We are now about half an hour walk through the jungle away from the end of our trip. We will be picked up there and go back to our hotel.
Great experience.
It was a fantastic experience, a lot of new ways of thinking, well, technically a lot of old ways of thinking, I suppose. Very interesting, and our host was really, really nice.
After a quick stop in the hotel, it was time for us to head out for yet another adventure, because since the entire rainforest is flat, the only way to really get up somewhere and get a nice view is climbing the highest trees available.
We will do now canopy.
This already looks very tiring. And
Today is the first day we're seeing the Amazonas River. and we're going to take a tour which goes from Leticia to Puerto Nariño, which are 75 kilometers. And then we hope to see some dolphins, to see the Victoria Regia flower, and to see some indigenous communities. We just arrived in Puerto Alegria, in the Peruvian side. Here we will see some Peruvian dances, and
I think that's it, right?
I think that's it, yeah.
First stop of the day.
Here at the southern end of Colombia, it has a border with Peru as well as Brazil, and you can cross the borders without doing immigrations up to a certain point. Now they perform traditional dances, the first one which we saw from the Andine region, and the second one actually here from the Amazonian region. Next stop was one we were quite excited about, Monkey Island. Here lives a small population of monkeys. They're used to human interaction, although you're not allowed to feed them, and you're also not allowed to have sunscreen or anything on your body because it's toxic to them. When they come to you, they will usually sit on your body. They are fed on a regular basis, so they stay in the island by the local population, but only with bananas that grow in the island. And as I said, as a tourist, you're not allowed to neither catch them or anything, just interact with them if they come to you. It's quite a nice experience, and they have really, really soft feet and are just so cute.
They don't want to leave me.
Different type of
Disney princess.
Disney princess.
Disney princess. Yeah. Bye bye. Ciao ciao. Bye bye. So this is plantain leaf, and this is our fish. This is pirarucu. And on the side we have some rice, beans, patacon, and some salad.
After lunch, we made another stop at a local tribe. And this young fella is quite interesting because he is already an abuelo, so an elderly, despite his young age. So that goes to show it's more about your knowledge of the ancient ways of living and plants and nature rather than the actual age.
Puerto Nariño is a really cute town in the Amazon.
And it's also the final point of most of the tours that go upriver, upstream the Amazon.
Starting from Leticia. Now we will walk a little bit around the town and then go back to Leticia, and it takes about 1.5 hours from here. Amazonic fruits.
And then it was already time for us to head back to Leticia, but little did we know what show Mother Nature was about to pull off.
now the rain season started. And with the rain, the water goes up to flood the forest until it gets until this line, which is about in 30 days. So we are now in end of February, 1st of March, and then in 30 days at the end of March it will reach up this level, and it will stay in this level until June.
During this kayak tour, and yesterday as well, we saw pink and grey dolphins. However, they are really difficult to capture on camera, so we failed in the attempt.
Frankly, we're quite glad that it's cloudy today, so we are spared a little bit of the heat that we can have here if the sun's out. It's still warm though, like, don't get me wrong. Yeah.
And just like that, 4 days in the Amazon rainforest were over. We had an amazing time here, and we're quite sad to leave, but only to a certain point, because next destination will be the Caribbean coast of Colombia. So join us next time.
Thanks for watching,
If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button below.
and leave us a comment. We would like to hear your opinions and thoughts.